The number one overall pick in the 2026 draft, Fernando Mendoza, impressed in his first preseason action for the Las Vegas Raiders, completing 10 of 16 passing attempts for 97 yards and a touchdown. His performance was so good that Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak said that he sees Mendoza as an ascending player. I was very impressed with his footwork, his poise, and just his ability to put the ball into tight windows. But more than anything, I was most impressed with what seems like a very comfortable transition for him going into an NFL pro-style offense with a lot of under center work, coming from a system in Indiana where he was almost exclusively in the shotgun, very RPO-centric, completely different type of operation for him, and he seems to be dealing with this transition very well, and he looked sharp in his first reps in an NFL uniform. So much so, I think Fernando Mendoza is actually ahead of schedule than a lot of people anticipated he would be, and we're going to dive into the film, and I'm going to talk through why I think Mendoza is actually going to start even sooner than a lot of us thought we would out there in Vegas. Now, Fernando Mendoza finds his first completion on his second passing attempt of the game. It's going to be a very simple bench concept to the top of the screen there, so you're going to get the inside receiver on a deeper corner or flag route. Jack Besh is going to be running in the shorter out route, and Besh does a great job of actually stemming his release more to the outside to get that outside leverage against this corner who rolls up. Makes it easier to get access to the out route without having to cross face. And Mendoza, again, what I like here is his footwork and his timing, right? So you're going to see top of his drop, hits his top foot, one hitch, lets the ball go. It's a little high, but Besh is able to climb the ladder, bring that down for him right at the stick. So again, I just like the timing, the comfortability. Again, these are his first ever NFL reps. It's not going to be perfect, but we want to see things that we can take away from it that are going to be translatable in the long term for Mendoza. And again, the footwork was something that stood out very, very high for me when I watched this tape. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is not something we saw Mendoza do a lot last year at Indiana. Under center, hard play action. So the Raiders are in a strong formation, offset fullback here. This is going to be a two-man route concept. Jack Besh is going to come across in motion and run a deep go route down the sideline here. And then you're going to get about a 20-yard sit route right over the ball from this inside receiver. What's key here is two things. What's very difficult about under center play action passing is you have to have a good beat on what you think the secondary is going to do before you snap the ball. So that's why this motion is also critical. Look at what happens when Besh motions. You're going to see this safety starts to point over to the other safety. They're rotating into a too-high shell. Mendoza looks and sees this, and now he has an idea of what type of coverage he's getting before the snap. Now he knows that if this is a too-high coverage off of this play fake, these linebackers have run fits. They're going to have to step up. So where is the ball likely going to go? It's going to need to split this second level and third level of the defense with this deep sit route here over the ball. So Mendoza comes out of the hard play fake, hits the top of his drop. One hitch, he's already patting the ball right as the receiver is turning his back, and he rips a dart right over the second level, right up on the guy's face mask for a big 20-yard completion. Again, for a guy who almost did no under center last year, this is very impressive and encouraging to see in his very first NFL reps, looking that comfortable and that decisive under center coming out of hard play action fakes. Later in that same drive, another pass play. This is a great example again of Mendoza using pre-snap recognition. This doesn't end up being a completion, but it also showcases that Clint Kubiak is looking to incorporate things into the offensive system that he knows Mendoza does really well. If you watched a lot of Indiana last year, you know Mendoza throws a great back shoulder fade. He did it a ton last season, I believe with Charlie Becker, mostly at Indiana. So what do we have here? We have what looks like a too-high shell, but they're in a 3-by-1 formation after this tight end motion, right? So tight end comes across the formation. You now have 3-by-1. With this one-on-one matchup here, he needs to see what is the safety going to do. If this safety stays around this hash or pushes towards the middle of the field, he knows he has the room to take that back shoulder shot. So right on the snap of the ball, you're able to see Mendoza's helmet. As soon as he receives the snap, he's looking right at the middle of the field. He wants to see what is this safety going to end up doing. Safety takes a couple of backpedal steps. He's already turned his eyes back to that one-on-one matchup. He knows he has exactly what he's looking for there, and the ball is honestly placed right on his back shoulder. You have to tip your cap to Denzel Burke. Does a good job of breaking up this pass, but that's exactly what you were looking for. He sees what he wants pre-snap, gets them into the 3-by-1 formation, keys the safety, and then takes advantage of the one-on-one matchup. And again, it's just the decisiveness with which he's playing so early on in his first NFL snaps. Very, very impressive for the young quarterback. Look at the way Mendoza gets through this full field progression off of the snap. And I'll try to pause it with each individual read. So as he gets the snap of the ball, you can see, look at his head turned to the left side, reading this first read here there at the top of the screen. Doesn't like what he sees there, sees the linebacker also coming down on 30 for the running back route there. So then his eyes turn. He flips towards the middle of the field. Again, I'm just trying to point out where his eyes are here. Doesn't like any of these two routes here. Again, this linebacker occupies a lot of space. You have a safety over the top. So then what does he do? He turns down all the way to his final read in the progression, which is this return route. Again, you had a tight end coming out. He's going to cut back inside, pats the ball, gets it off while getting hit, and ends up getting a 6-yard gain coming off of a sack. Pretty much gets all of that yardage back. So again, I'll just play it in full and just look at how quickly he gets through 1, 2, 3 down to his last read and gets the ball out while getting hit. Again, it's just the decisiveness and comfortability. That's not something you see from a lot of young quarterbacks anymore. So it's very, very encouraging, both for Raider fans and the Raider organization as a whole, to see Mendoza able to come in and process, not just at a high level, but with the speed that he seems to be able to move through this. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It is preseason. A lot of these guys on both sides of the ball are not necessarily going to be getting a lot of playing time on Sundays come the actual regular season, but these are small aspects of the game that you can take and that are applicable to regular season football. Mendoza follows that up on the very next play with a touchdown, and again, it is great pre-snap recognition here. You have a 3-by-1 set when you add in the running back here. He's going to hit Jack Besh on a quick one-step slant here for a touchdown. And again, I love the pre-snap recognition, and I love the ball placement from Mendoza. You can see Besh already has slight inside leverage compared to that safety who's angled just slightly outside of Jack Besh. So he knows he's going to have to get this ball out quickly with safety over the top and this backer here. So not only is he able to get the ball out quickly, but look at the placement. He puts the ball very low on Jack Besh, so he's able to go down to the ground, catch it for a touchdown, and safely protects his receiver from any of these potential defenders who could get a hit on Jack Besh. Again, that is just good, sound football. Not everything has to be the flashiest, crazy playmaking style of play. You just want a guy to be able to recognize he has the leverage for that one-step slant, sends the guy in motion, and gives him a nice, safe, crisp pass over the goal line for his first touchdown in a Raider uniform. Great, great stuff from Mendoza. Last play that I want to walk through here once again showcases Mendoza's comfortability playing under center. The Raiders, again, this is early preseason. You're going to get a lot of very basic concepts. Are going back to bench here at the top of the screen, except they're inverting it. So now the outside receiver is going to be running the deeper corner or flag route, while the inside receiver here is going to be running a shorter out route. It's covered pretty well on this side by the Cardinals. I just love how Mendoza keeps his feet alive and is able to get all the way to this backside dig route for a big 14-yard completion. So again, full long drop back under center. You see he doesn't like anything on this side of the screen, top of the screen there. He pats the ball, doesn't like it. Again, look at his feet. Keeps his feet active, turns his body back to the inside, sees the window for the dig on time in his progression, and rips it right across the middle, gets it right into his hands for a big first down conversion, explosive play. Again, you just don't often see quarterbacks in this day and age who play in such an RPO-centric system have this level of comfortability early on, playing out of under center, play action, or just pure drop back passing out of under center concepts. It's very, very encouraging if I am anyone in the Raiders organization, including Clint Kubiak, most importantly, to see how well Mendoza is adjusting to this. So very, very impressive tape for the number 1 overall pick's first ever snaps in a Raiders jersey. That is going to do it, though, for this film breakdown. As always, I appreciate your support. I know it's been a long layoff between the last video I made around the NFL draft. A lot of changes this summer. I recently moved, but we are back, and it is football season, and we are fully back into the swing of pulling out film breakdown content for you all. So again, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel, drop a like. It helps me out a ton as we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we are going to keep rolling with this thing. So I appreciate you again. God bless, and I'm out.